Hi, it's Mr. Smith. I'm going to be talking to you about your options next year, specifically your GCSE RS paper. I'm going to tell you what the GCSE looks like. I'm going to tell you some different kind of pathways that you can go down after you've taken this subject for your GCSEs next year. I'm going to also tell you kind of what's relevant within it and how I think it's relevant to our everyday life. So what does the GCSE actually look like? Well, it's made up of two different components. Component 1 studied in year 10 and component 2 studied in year 11. Component 1 is the study of religions, and this is where we look at Christian beliefs and practices as well as Jewish beliefs and practices. In the Christian beliefs segment, we have a look at how the Christian faith is kind of built up. What are the key beliefs within that faith? So, for example, we look at the Trinity, we look at the natures of God, we look at Jesus being the incarnation and how he brings about salvation, as well as beliefs about the afterlife and different Christian beliefs about that as well. Then we go on to look at practices, which is essentially how do those things manifest themselves in everyday life. So we look at worship, we look at the sacraments, we look at how people help within the world around them. Then we go on to Jewish beliefs and practices. Similarly, we have a look at the natures of God in Jewish beliefs. We have a look at the importance of God for the Jewish people. We have a look at the origins of the faith, kind of related to Abraham and Moses, as well as looking at the key moral principles. We then go on to look at practices, which again, similarly to Christian practices, we look at how those things kind of manifest themselves in everyday life. So, how do the laws kind of impact the Jewish life? For example, with kosher and trefa laws, we have a look at how they may worship. We have a look at different festivals and things that happen throughout the year. Then we go into year 11, where we have a look at 4 different themes. We've got the first one, which is religion and life, which studies just life in general. Where do we come from? Is there a God, essentially, in that kind of idea of creation? We have a look at the environment and animal abuse. We have a look at essentially what different people, be they religious or non-religious, also believe about the afterlife. Then we go into religion, peace and conflict, where we look at war, we look at terrorism, we look at essentially holy wars and all of those sorts of things. Can war ever be justified? Then we go on to religion, crime and punishment, which is kind of linking. We have a look at capital punishment. We have a look at essentially the justice system. And does it work? Is it good? What do religions believe about that? And what do non-religious people believe about this? And then finally, we go on to have a look at religion and social justice. So we look at issues such as discrimination, prejudice within our society, be it racial, religious, whatever it is. And then kind of the different responses, be it religious, non-religious, to that. So as you can tell from the amount of times I've said religion or religious, it's going to be a lot of study of religion, but it's also going to have a lot of opportunity for debate, because we get to learn about all of these different people and how they kind of show themselves in the world. The papers itself, it's made up of 2 papers, so component 1, component 2. In component 1, you'll have a Christian beliefs, a Christian practices, a Jewish beliefs and a Jewish practices paper. Each of those papers will be worth 24 marks altogether. And then there will be spag marks on top of that as well. And in a similar sort of way, you'll have the 4 themes in the component 2 paper, and that is also 24 marks for each paper plus spag. So the papers themselves, they last for 1 hour 45 minutes. So that is ample time for you to be able to write as much as you need for each of those questions. But obviously we do a lot of practice in school as well. So what kind of careers can you get out of a GCSE RS qualification? Well, the obvious ones are if you want to go into being a priest, or if you want to work as an ordained person within the church, then that's a really kind of easy one for you to kind of think about, as well as being a religious studies teacher, which obviously I would love. But if that's not really the sort of thing that you would be interested in, some careers would be to do with people. In religious studies, we learn about people, we study how they work. It works really well with different sort of qualifications like sociology, psychology, And that can lead you into lots and lots of different things. For example, journalism, where you have to literally go out and find out about people. It can help you with law, it can help you with human resources, where you have to look after people. You can do charity work, because there's lots of different charities that are set up within religious communities that go out to help other people. You can work within the media, because you would understand how lots and lots of different people work. So I think it's just a great subject that's kind of all-rounder, as it were, because it can really just teach you a lot about society and how people work within it. On top of that, it's something that will be really beneficial for you when you're applying to universities, because it shows that you're interested in people. It shows that you want to learn how people work and you want to work within a community, which, to be honest, all sorts of jobs, education sectors, everything, they really value it.